Welcome to Second Sake, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer unpacks the need for local equipment manufacturing and the power supply constraints facing the country. Welcome, Martin.
Hi, Sashni.
Now, more needs to be done to increase the local manufacture of mining equipment.
Yes, I'm really impressed. Every time I go into a local manufacturing concern, a lot of them close by, it could be Jet Park or Isando, Boksburg area, Wadeville area, I get impressed by the private sector's resilience in this area of actually manufacturing locally, particularly the manufacture of mining equipment. We recently went through JA Engineering, and again I was impressed. You can see that the private sector is able to cope with upturns, downturns, medium turns, everything. They get their job done. They get their job done well. And when you go through the plant, you see that the standards are high. So I'm saying, what is happening with the Department of Trade and Industry? I just don't hear from them anymore. What are they doing about making sure that we can grow this sector? Because what I find when I go through, these people are doing the most amazing things in the most difficult of circumstances with high steel prices and ridiculous situations that they have to cope with, exporting. The products that they exported are really appreciated by the external market. They might go into Australia or they might go into India, but people are saying, wow, this is a very good piece of equipment. There's a lot of innovation here. It's well made. It's robust. Often the products that are made are very robust, particularly in the coal mining sector where we've got hard coal. If they go into soft coal areas, they actually perform much better. So I would really like to see this Department of Trade and Industry show itself. We heard it making all sorts of promises during the parliamentary debate. I haven't heard them come through publicly on meeting those, and I demand that they do it for the good of the country.
And moving on to electricity, the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy has said that they would take urgent action to close the energy gap, but there have been no timeframes.
They come through with a new request for information, but they don't give any timeframes. Now I think the time has come for them to look at themselves in the mirror. Suddenly we have a ministry of what was mineral resources becoming also the Ministry of Mineral Resources and Energy. I ask you, now this key energy aspect you lump onto a guy who already, I don't think they're doing a fantastic job, are they? So now you give them energy, which is absolutely crucial for the business as the second part of their portfolio. Mineral resources and energy. I ask you. Going back to the time of Thabo Mbeki, the errors made in that energy sector were so bad that when he left office, he apologized. He had, the honor to apologize. He and Alec Erwin had mucked up big time. I can remember an Indian investor being told to create a huge investment in Richards Bay, which was energy intensive. They were told in a closed little circle that included no South Africans. They used to bring in investors from around the world and they used to talk to them. They encouraged this Indian investor who was very magnanimous, because I spoke to him and wanted to do something in this region, to put a lot of money into Richards Bay on the basis that his energy intensive African investment would be well served by the state-owned Eskom. The day that he was meaning to commission that in 2008, we had a similar situation here. We talk about stage 6, never having it before. We've had this before, where they just can't supply. They could not supply the mining industry. I ask you, after attracting that investment on the basis of their knowledge, running a state, to me, they need someone who can go in there and do proper due diligence. They really have proved that over and over and over again, they can't do this job. And it gets worse and worse and worse. So, I'm thinking now, coming through with this late request for information without even having a time frame, where are we? I don't see this mineral resources and energy working, particularly at this time. You need to have a huge focus on energy, because if you do focus on that, you're going to not focus on the mineral resources. We need to have that growth as well. So I think, big rethink, something drastic needs to happen here, because they're falling into the same hole every time.
And lastly, the South African Wind Energy Association wants wind power to be released to the national grid to ease the constraints.
Look at this. They've got an agreement with Eskom that Eskom will take certain amount of what they can supply, but they can actually supply more. Now, we've got a crisis sitting here, load shedding, and because of a red tape and because of some sort of recalcitrance around a centralized energy control body that's owned by the state, you've got energy lying out there, potential energy, that they can't feed in because they've been told you can only do so much and no more. And even though they've got more, they're not allowed to put it in. I mean, I'll ask you, it is absolutely absurd. They've got to relook at NERSA and all the regulatory red tape. They've got to allow the mines to produce their own power. Now, why does a mining company like Goldfields go into Australia and build a solar power plant that shows absolutely low-cost excellence? They want to do that, yeah? They're not allowed to do it. I mean, can you believe that they are stopping the private sector from putting private sector money into energy capacity that won't hurt the taxpayer, you and me, at all? All they need to do is do a little bit of paperwork and say you are enabled to do this. They should be rolling out the red carpet at this particular time because look at the state we're in. Yet, the red tape trips everybody up. Mining companies that are ready to put in, a lot of megawattage, big megawattage, have to mark time. And now we have this request for energy without a time frame. I'll ask you, come on, South Africa, look at yourself. You haven't been able to manage this energy complex, which was the minerals energy complex. This is what we've built our economy on. Now, the minerals side in the private sector is being well managed. The manufacturing linked to that is being well managed. The state side is being badly managed. But not only through this period, it's been ongoing. When are they going to sort this out for the good of the South African people?
Thanks for speaking with us.
It's a great pleasure, Sashni.
That's it for today. Join us again next year for more news analysis on the local and global mining industries. And don't forget to listen to the audio version of our Mining Weekly daily email newsletter.